That's what being one of the four horsemen means.
You still have a pretty good relationship with a lot of the guys still over at WWE, I'd imagine, like Rollins
for sure.
and Roman and those kind of guys.
Yeah, for sure. The only problem I ever had with anybody really is Vince.
Yeah.
And that's not even like an actual problem. Like if he called me right now and he just wanted to ask me what I'm doing and how's it going, I'd be like, "What's up, man?" Like totally cool. I mean, I've never had a conversation that didn't involve wrestling.
Yeah.
But if he were to call me and just be like, "Hey, what do you think about? Did you enjoy the Comedy Store?" I'd be like, "Yeah, it was great. How you doing? Cool, bud." All right. Like it's just creatively we just stopped speaking the same language. And like creative problems are not life and death problems. You know, it's like it's all good. You know, so this is
Well, because it was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I'm sure I'm like persona non grata.
Yeah.
There or whatever, but it's like, hey,
Well, it was interesting because like Rollins, especially recently, has been very vocal online about sort of his opinions on WWE and other companies and things like that. I know he got into it kind of with Will Ospreay for a second. There was a quote he gave to Bleacher Report where it was, let's see, he gave you your props saying that you had given everything to the company and your heart and soul in the travel schedule, the injuries, work in the ring, everything, But at the end of the day, he took his ball and he went home. And he went elsewhere at least. And I think it's a little presumptuous of him to get on a podcast and talk down about the company that gave him such an opportunity. I just wondered what your response kind of was to that. Because, I mean, from my perspective, it didn't seem like you were shitting on the fact that, shitting on WWE. It was the fact that, like you said, creatively you felt stifled and now that weight has been lifted.
Yeah, like there's this episode of Frasier I was thinking about.
Never would have thought you'd make a Frasier reference.
So like, the dog Eddie is real depressed.
Yes.
Right. And he's all sad and mopey, and they don't know what he won't eat, and they don't know what's wrong with him. The vet doesn't know what's wrong with him, so they hire a dog psychiatrist to examine him, and then the comedy ensues for the next 26 minutes. But then at the end of the episode, they find his toy was like stuck under the couch. And then all of a sudden everything's good.
Right.
And he's like, oh, and he's not depressed anymore. And they're like, oh, it was just the toy. The thing that he likes to do was play with his toy.
Right.
For me, like, that's all it was. Now that the kind of like the fog is just continually lifted more and more, and I kind of realized like how kind of like deeply unhappy I was there. Sure. That I didn't realize at the time because I'm like, well, I'm making a bunch of money and like it seems like it's going good. I'll try it,
Yeah.
Now I'm like, now I'm kind of realizing how much it affected me. But now it's like, oh, I found my toy under the couch. Pro wrestling again. That's all good. Like, no.